We are talking The Righteous, and this one is directed, produced, written and starring Mark O'Brien. I don't really know how to classify this film in a particular genre. I suppose it is drama at the end of the day, but it has some darker elements in it, and although I wouldn't go as far as calling this movie a horror film per se, there is a little bit of elements here that are a little on the creepier side, I guess, but not really ever a full-on horror or anything like that, but a dark drama. There you go. Anyway, what is the story? Well, it focuses on this older couple, the man who used to be a priest once upon a time, and they have recently suffered a loss of their adopted daughter and are in mourning. Now, one night, there's a kerfuffle outside, and our main protagonist, this ex-priest, finds there's this guy, played by Mark O'Brien, who is a younger man who seems to be injured somehow. And he's a little bit vague about what he's doing out there and where he's come from, etc. But they kind of invite him in and sort of look after him, and he seems to be unwilling really to kind of give them much information, but he somehow weaves his kind of way into their lives. Now, what is his intent? Is he there to kind of like test our couple, particularly this kind of ex-priest, in regards to his faith and things like that after the death of his adopted daughter, or is it something more terrestrial? You'll have to watch the movie and find out. So let us discuss The Righteous. So what do we think? Okay, what works in this movie? So it's actually shot in black and white. It's a movie. It's a choice where I didn't think it was necessary, to be honest, but it does give it a like I say, a creepy feel to it to a certain degree, and I think it kind of goes with our main protagonists, who are kind of this older couple. It does kind of work, and I did like the contrast seems to be kind of like heightened as well, and I think it, visually speaking at least, it's very, very interesting. But the main, I think, positive about this film is the very, very strong acting from our older couple, who I think do an absolutely excellent job of having this couple that are struggling, obviously, to deal with the death of their adopted daughter and everything, and but still trying to be good religious folk to this guy and things like that, and others, a smattering of other kind of characters that you'll see in the movie as well. So I thought the acting was excellent from our main couple of people, and the movie does have some interesting themes. I would say, particularly in the second half. It takes a while to get there, but I think when we get to the second half of the movie, I think that this younger guy played by O'Brien, he asks some interesting questions of us as the audience, and this ex-priest as well, this older guy, and what is the nature of the reason why he's there, for example, and what does that mean for the couple, etc. And it could it be something very biblical? Well, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, there is some interesting kind of stuff going on in regards to that in this the second half of the movie. And on a technical level, I've got to say, I think this movie is very well made, it's well shot, well cinematography, well edited and everything like that. So yeah, all good on a technical front. What doesn't work for me, I think the story for me is a little lacking. For a start, again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but the way this is written, and this was written by, let's say, the director, who's also produced it, who stars in it, I wasn't quite buying the setup here. And we have this guy who is injured and turns up in the middle of the night in the house, and yet the couple don't think it's appropriate to call an ambulance or anything like that. And I wasn't really buying the reason why they wanted to take him in without calling the police. Well, they do call the police, but they shoo them away. And I didn't really buy, even if you're thinking about it, it's the best kind of solution for the guy, this Mark O'Brien's character, the stranger. It didn't really ring true to me. It was a little bit Why would you not call for someone at a hospital, you know, an ambulance if someone is hurt and they're in the middle of the wilderness, hurt, you know, lost and things like that. And then this character is just a little bit too shady. Oh, I'm meeting a friend. What is your friend's name? Oh, I don't know. Why? Where are we going? Oh, I had a tent, but I forgot it. And I'm like, what? You'd be kicking this guy out, you know, surely anyone with any sense would be kicking this guy out to the curb because he's being so vague and kind of shady. You know that there's some kind of type of ulterior kind of motives going on. I didn't understand. It just didn't make sense that any rational person would kind of invite this person in and not call an ambulance and then keep them there when they're clearly being so evasive. I think some of the kind of the character work is better in the second half. But the first half, I just kind of wasn't buying it, and it is a bit slow, unfortunately. It takes kind of a while to get there, and this is certainly not a thriller-minute type of movie. It's a slower burn, and that's just good. But I felt like there wasn't a huge amount of plot progression until we kind of get to the second half, which makes the first half just a little bit dull in regard to the narrative, at least. I mean, the performances are good. The only exception, I think, of O'Brien, who plays this kind of this sort of stranger, and although I wouldn't go as far as I think he was acting was bad, but it was weaker compared to the couple, the older couple that I think were outstanding. You know, very, very believable. But O'Brien's acting, I don't think was quite up to snuff for them, if I'm honest. Didn't seem quite quite as believable, and then you couple that with, I think, some not so good writing. So overall, it falls a little flat. I think if you're going to have a movie which leans very much on the dramatic, you need to have, you know, a strong and believable kind of narrative, and I didn't really get that from this movie, at least initially. And by when we get to the second half, I do think it becomes a little more interesting. But by then, I'm kind of like, oh. You know, I'm wishing it will just end soon, to be honest. But on a technical level and on an acting perspective, I think it's strong, and it is visually interesting. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It could have an average mark for me. I don't think it was anything special, to be honest, in one way or another. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.